Hey Warpugs, so today we're going to be checking out SCP-410. Now the reason I decided to check this out is very simple. We just recently saw an SCP live action where they got him in as the Doctor. The Volgun is, quite simply put, the voice of the Doctor. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. He's just synonymous with that now. If there is one thing that I would hope for is that one day I'm in the 40k, as far as Warhammer 40k goes, I'm somewhere in there as a character. I would love that. That would be the best thing ever. You guys told me that Tex from Black Pants Legion was put into the canon of the actual game, married to an elemental, which was, well, divorced from an elemental, which is crazy. One of these days, I would hope that I'd wind up finding myself in the pages of a Black Library novel. That would be so unrelentingly awesome. The Volgun, on the other hand, just by merit of his voice alone, and the way he talks as the Doctor when voicing it, anytime I see the Doctor in any kind of portrayal whatsoever, and the voice of the Doctor is not his, it's not the Doctor for me, okay? I don't know, I understand everything like that, but come on, man. He is that voice. He is that character. My depression aside, let's get into SCP-410. It's an SCP below 2000, which they are my favorites. They're my favorites so far. All of my favorite SCPs, well, most of them anyway, have come from there. So you like 4-9, the Shy Guy, the Old Man. You have a whole just a multitude of others. Peanut, even though I say I hate him religiously. All the SCP-001 suggestions, of course. Warpugs, Editor Beetles. Chat GPT in biological form. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-410. Object Class: Safe.
Yay!
Special Containment Procedures. SCP-410 is currently held at Site-23, Entomology Lab 14, Zeta, and maintained in a 1-meter cubed, transparent acrylic glass container. The top of the container is perforated with 33 1mm holes to allow for ventilation, and features a small hinged lockable hatch in its center measuring 5 by 5 centimeters. The hatch utilizes a simple cylinder lock which is to be rekeyed every 3 months. The hatch is to remain locked unless SCP-410 is actively being fed or constituent members of SCP-410 are being removed for or returned from research applications.
Okay.
Every 24 hours, a visual inspection and inventory of SCP-410 and its constituent members is to be performed and logged according to Level 4 archival standards by designated observational staff. Any increases or decreases in the number of constituent members of SCP-410 should be reported to the senior researcher on duty immediately.
Okay.
Every 12 hours, a document containing no fewer than 5,000 words in any language, but possessing a minimum syntactical, orthographical, and/or grammatical error ratio of 1%, roughly 50 errors in every 5,000 words, is to be placed inside the container. The document should be removed after 1 hour. Reviewed by a staff linguist with a specialty in the language the document was composed in, and subsequently filed in the SCP-410 feeding archive. Food documents should be composed specifically for the purpose of sustaining the SCP-410 colony. No existing archival materials or official SCP records should be given to the entire SCP-410 colony under any circumstances.
Okay.
A single individual from the 14-member colony that comprises SCP-410 may be removed for research and functional application for a single 2-hour activity period daily with approval from the senior researcher on duty. No more than 4 members of the colony are to be removed at any given time. Transport of a single SCP-410 colony member should be facilitated by no fewer than 2 Class 2 entomology staff using only an approved SCP-410 transport module to do so. The current SCP-410 transport modules are 20 cm cubed, transparent acrylic glass containers perforated with 12 1mm ventilation holes and each featuring a hinged lid equipped with a simple latch.
So basically, these are pet grammatical, like, yes. These are pet beetles for the SCP Foundation. And they're going to have an SCP choice. I like it. Let's go.
Description: SCP-410 is a colony of 14 individual beetles designated Scarabaeus scripter by staff coleopterist Dr. Langstrom, each measuring approximately 5 centimeters,
large,
and possessing a carapace color variation from light blue to deep emerald green. A visual examination reveals nothing distinctive from other members of the genus Scarabaeus with regards to their appearance, number of legs, wings, eyes, etc. Dissection of a single member of the colony by a trained coleopterist showed no discernible anomalies in internal morphology, with the exception of a small additional organ designated the scriptorgan by Dr. Langstrom, capable of producing a variety of fluids, both caustic and inert. It is worth noting that following the death and dissection of this member of the colony, a replacement beetle larva was seen 14 days later and grew to full maturity within 1 month.
They replaced their losses. Okay.
Members of SCP-410 appear to subsist entirely on inscribed language, more specifically on syntactical, orthographical, and grammatical errors found in any form of writing physically inscribed on any surface by any currently available method. SCP-410 has no effect on electronic displays or digitized data. Consumed writing disappears from the surface of whatever material it has been inscribed upon. Between 18 and 22 minutes following a feeding, SCP-410 will excrete corrected writing, inscribing it by unknown means back upon the surface from which the errors were consumed. To date, all corrections made by SCP-410 have been evaluated as 100% accurate by both staff and independent orthographers and linguists.
The SCP Foundation, where magical things will be found. Like a guy who wanders around in a room crying for hours on end. A weird old guy who disappears in and out of walls and drags you to interdimensional hell. A jelly mold that rolls around and makes everybody happy. The good boy. And now we have beetles that are literal grammar Nazis and eat everything they see that they don't like alive. I love it.
Individually, members of SCP-410 each seem to be able to consume and correct an approximate maximum of 25,000 characters worth of errors daily, and appear healthy and active with as few as 5. Lack of sustenance for a period in excess of 1 day results in increasing lethargy until SCP-410 becomes completely inert, entering an apparent state of hibernation. SCP-410 can be roused from this state with a minimum of 50 errors placed within its proximity. In groups of 3 or more, SCP-410 will not only correct grammatical and orthographic errors, but begin to alter the style of the original text slightly, often using a somewhat expanded vocabulary and incorporating more complex narrative methods.
Okay.
When the entire colony is applied to a single document, all linguistic errors are corrected, and the document is perfected in clarity, style, word choice, and rhetorical technique to such an extent that the original author's voice is nearly non-existent. Although the central thesis of a document always remains, the arguments supporting it may be vastly more complex or compelling in the case of research writing. In the case of basic lists of short statements,
this is ChatGPT in the year 2050. It's a bunch of beetles.
Or simple observational reports, Enhanced correction may be in the form of layout alterations to provide greater clarity. See archival files 410, A44-2 through 410, A59, 888, 6 for examples of editing. There appear to be few limitations of the languages or materials that SCP-410 can interpret and harvest sustenance from. Hieroglyphs from the 31st century BCE Narmer palette were successfully corrected by SCP-410 just as easily as errors created in the modern constructed language Esperanto. Excreted corrections match the original colors, method, and medium of the errors with near-perfect accuracy. Graphites, inks, engravings, acid etchings, and high-energy laser inscriptions have all been successfully replicated in appearance by SCP-410's corrections. The only anomaly found within the excreted corrections appears to be an inability to replicate aged materials. Errors inscribed in ink on a 14th century CE illuminated manuscript were ingested by SCP-410, and while corrections were excreted in a matching color, they possessed the vibrant intensity of new ink. Staff experts were easily able to spot the corrections in the manuscript visually, and spectrographic analysis confirmed that the excreted inks were modern, while the surrounding text dated from the time of the original manuscript.
I can't help but think they could use these to essentially recover dead languages. I can't help but think that we'd be able to use the Beetles to reconstruct a vocabulary and to better understand what we're reading from languages that have gone far before us. It would be the new Rosetta Stone. SCP-410 would be the new Rosetta Stone.
SCP-410 has successfully harvested error sustenance from and excreted corrections onto the following materials: paper, cardboard, wood, ice, human skin, see Experiment 410, 7.9.
Okay.
Granite, limestone.
They put somebody's arm in there that said mother, but the mother was misspelled.
Marble, steel, aluminum, titanium, and beta-carbon nitride. Proposed testing of SCP-410 with anomalous texts, including texts containing SCP-423, is currently pending review. Experiment 410, 7.9.
Okay.
One heavily tattooed Class D
of
exposed
course
to one constituent member of SCP-410. Class D staff member, hereafter Subject D, possessed a prison-created tattoo with the words "Forever Yours, Baby" on her left forearm.
Nice.
15 seconds. Subject D secured an emotion-restricting harness and fitted with a pulse rate monitor. One constituent member of SCP-410 removed from transport unit and placed on Subject D's left arm. 49 seconds. SCP-410 begins circling the perimeter of the tattoo. 122 seconds. SCP-410 begins consuming the tattoo's error, beginning with the first extraneous E in forever. Subject D indicates an 8 on the NRS-11 pain scale.
Oh, okay.
Reaches 106. 149 seconds. SCP-410 finishes consuming the first extraneous E. It no longer appears on the subject, revealing a bare patch of slightly reddened skin. Subject D reports pain has ceased. Describes the pain like putting my goddamn arm in a blender. Pulse rate 94. 224 seconds. SCP-410 finishes consuming errors in the tattoo. Appears to fall asleep.
Of course they would use this thing to torture a D-Class in some way, shape, or form. Of course they would.
Tattoo now reads, "Forever Your Bab."
Yay.
Subject D experiences pulse rate fluctuations between 102 and 144. Reports pain ranging from between 6 and 10 on the NRS-11. Subject D requests painkillers. Request denied. 1,226 seconds. SCP-410 rouses, begins excretion and correction process. Subject D's pulse rate 113. Reports NRS-11 rating 3 to 4. Describes it as roughly analogous to being tattooed. 1,494 seconds. SCP-410 completes excretion and correction process. Tattoo reads, "Forever yours, baby," with corrected lettering's colors significantly more vibrant than unedited counterparts.
Okay.
You know, it's weird. I heard a lot of people talking about how good it would be to have a Beetle that corrected things, when really, this thing is a living Clippy.
It is.
That little paper clip in Microsoft Word that everybody hates? These Beetles are the living representation of that. Do you really want these things walking around doing the real life equivalent of, "Oh, I see you're writing a letter. You need any help there, bud? You need any help? I certainly don't."
I understand.
Anyway, I think that about does it for today. Thank you all for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
Of course, they're gonna find a way to torture a D-class with this SCP. It's like, oh, we have a Beetle that corrects grammar. Let's just chain a D-class and then put one on their arm on a tattoo and see what happens. Painkillers denied, of course. That's just impressive. Warpugs, the sheer fact of the matter is, painkillers are denied for a very good reason, because we're doing this for science, you know? We're not doing this because we're a bunch of really ridiculous pricks. And we're not, like, oh my god. That's why everybody considers the ethics committee a joke until they start digging a little bit deeper, because this is brutal, okay? Just give the woman some painkillers so she can deal with the thing chewing on her arm. At least it fixed her tattoo for her. That's always a good thing. I have seen tattoos that were misspelled, and the person is all proud of them, and I'm just sitting there looking at their arm or their leg or their shoulder where they got this big beaming smile on their face, and I'm just like, oh, Warpugs, Beetles that can autocorrect your mistakes. Maybe not the thing that we need, but it's nice to have. It's like a Alexa. Only you can feed it your terrible writing. I'm going to head out from here, Warpugs. I'm going to have all the links for the Volgun in the description down below. Go by his shop and check out some of his stuff down there. You'd like it. Check out my shop as well. Join as a member of Patreon for early access, and I'll catch you guys next time.